Welcome for today's webinar in collaboration with Raiffeisen Bank, where we will see how to file your tax return in a very easy way. Let me introduce myself very quickly. My name is Malget. I'm co-founder of taxx.lu, a website that we launched in 2018 that helps everyone in Luxembourg to file their taxes in the most easy way. So what's on the menu for today? We will see together what deductions or allowances you can claim on your Luxembourg tax return. We will see what certificates you need to deduct those on the tax return. We will see how to file your tax return, and we will also see how, as a Raiffeisen customer, you can benefit from a discount of 30% on taxx.lu services. So basically, let's start with some basic information about tax optimization. So in Luxembourg, you have the possibility to deduct different expenses on your tax return, which allows you basically to save on taxes. How does this work? In a very easy way. On one hand, you have different incomes. For most of you, it's basically their salaries that they have to declare. And on the other hand, you have all those deductions we will see in a minute, which brings us to the taxable income. Taxable income is the amount that is taxed in Luxembourg, and basically the rule is quite simple. The higher the taxable income is, the more taxes you have to pay. So basically, if we are talking tax optimization for individuals, we are talking about how to reduce the taxable income by increase basically those deductions on the tax return. A deduction does not mean the tax savings. Basically, the tax savings depend on your income situation. Here are a few examples. If, for example, you are a single with a 6K monthly gross salary, you have a marginal tax rate of around 42%, meaning basically that the last euros you are earning are taxed at 42%. And it means as well that if you are deducting 1,000 euros on your tax return, then your tax savings will equal 42% of this deduction. So 42% of 1,000 euros, which brings us to a tax saving of 420 euros. If you are a single and you're having a gross monthly salary of 12K, then you are already at a marginal tax rate of around 44%, meaning that a deduction of 1,000 euros will bring you a tax gain of 440 euros. So basically, the tax savings depend not on the deduction, or not only on the deduction, but also on your income and on the marginal tax rate you are in. So what are those different deductions that you can claim on the tax return? In this webinar, we are not going into the details of these different options you have. We had another webinar in October, November with our partner Raiffeisen that you can still find on our website, taxx.lu, under webinars, where we are going more into detail and where we had also interventions from Raiffeisen bankers explaining the different Raiffeisen products that can help you to save on taxes. So in this webinar, we are just going through different deductions that you can claim, so you won't forget anything on your next tax return. So basically the one you will file for 2025, the one you can file right now actually. There are different deductions that are possible, so there are different categories. One is called special expenses. There you can find interest on personal loans, insurance premiums that you are paying, private pension plan contributions, but also contributions into home savings plan, and donations you are doing to charity. Then you have what is called allowances. Basically, you have like household stuff expenses. We will see what this is about, and also extraordinary charges, so extraordinary expenses. And then if you are a homeowner, then you can also deduct interest on your mortgage loan, but also some notary fees and bank fees for the year of acquisition of this home. Let's start with the first category, interest on loans and insurance premiums. So basically, for every deduction on the Luxembourg tax return, you have maximum deductible limits. This category here, the maximum deductible limit is 672 euros per household member. So basically, this maximum ceiling will be times 2 if there's a couple, times 3 if there's a couple with 1 child, times 4 if there's a couple with 2 children, and so on. And basically, what is deductible in this category? But most common here, it's interest on personal loans. So, for example, if you have a loan for your car, those interests will be deductible in this category. But the same for overdraft interest. So basically, if on your bank account you are below 0 and there is interest that you need to pay, those can also be deducted here, but also credit card interest. So if at the end of the month you cannot pay your credit card bill, at that moment there will be interests applied, and those can be deducted here in this category. Then in the same category, you have the insurance premiums that you are paying. For example, third-party liability, that's basically the most popular. For example, for your car. So for your car, you cannot deduct what we call in Luxembourg the casco, the full damage coverage, but you can deduct the third-party liability insurance. Basically, that's the one that is mandatory to drive a car here in Luxembourg, and that one will be tax deductible. The same if you are investing into life insurance or private healthcare, those will be deductible in this category of the tax return. For every deduction on the Luxembourg tax return, you also need to prove them by certificates. The advantage of being with a Luxembourgish insurance company or Luxembourgish bank, they are providing you the tax certificates that you need. So, for example, here we see different examples of tax certificates from insurance companies. You can find those when you are logging in on their websites or on their apps on your phones. So there you can find those certificates that show exactly the amount that you can deduct on the tax return. The same for bank statements. So basically certificates from your bank. If you have a loan there, you can download them on your web banking. And as you are all customers of Raiffeisen, I will show you later on where to find this on your RNet, so basically the web banking of Raiffeisen Bank. Private pension plans are also tax deductible if they have been subscribed here in Luxembourg with Luxembourg Bank or Luxembourg Insurance Company. The maximum deductible limit here for the year 2025, so basically the tax year you are filing your taxes now, it's 3,200 euros per adult, and the kids are not involved, so it's 3,200 per adult. And good news is that starting from January 2026 on, this maximum ceiling has been increased to 4,500 per adult. So that's only for tax return that you're filing next year, so basically for the year 2026. So for 2025, the maximum is still the 3,200. However, if you have already a contract, maybe with Raiffeisen, for those 3,200, it's now the moment to contact your banker to increase those contributions up to 4,500 to fully get the most advantage of it on your tax return. Private pension plans, basically what's the goal behind it? It's an investment you are doing for later. So at earliest at age 60, you can access this money. There are a few other rules. Best would be to contact your banker at Raiffeisen. They can help you with setting up those plans, and they're quite flexible. So you could start with small amounts and increase them later on based on your career, your salary increase, and so on. As soon as you have such a contract, the bank or the insurance company where you subscribed this private pension plan, they will give you certificates that you can find on their websites, on their web banking, so you can download them and add them to your tax return. Home savings plan, it's a very German thing. We are not far from Germany, so basically we are having the same in Luxembourg. Home savings plans, if you are investing in those, the maximum deductible limit here is 672 euros per household member. And if one of the parents are younger than 41 years, and if they are mentioned as a subscriber on those contracts, the maximum deductible limit will be doubled. So basically, here's an example of a couple. One is aged 45, the other one 38. Both are mentioned on the contract. They have 2 kids. They can deduct the total maximum of 5,376 euros, and this couple would save around 2,240 euros in taxes. Raiffeisen is working, it can provide you those contracts. Basically, you can contact your banker. Those contracts, they have a minimum duration normally of 10 years. And when you're getting out the money after 10 years, you need to use them for your home. So you can use them for new acquisition, new construction, renovation, or you could also use them for redemption on your mortgage. That's also an option. Contact your banker at Raiffeisen, and they can help you with this. This basically, in my personal opinion, is a no-brainer. If your plans are to stay in Luxembourg, open such a plan. It's like basically having kind of a savings account where Luxembourg state is reimbursing you 42% of your investment. So guaranteed return on investment of 42%, which is quite nice. In Luxembourg, we have all the commercial banks, Raiffeisen as well. They're working with a home savings bank. In Luxembourg, we have 3 of those banks. We have Schwäbisch Hall, but they are no longer. Old contracts are still running, but they are no longer active here in Luxembourg. So Raiffeisen is working with Wüstenrot, but there's also BHW, and those home savings banks. If you have a contract with them, they have sent you in January, February a paper certificate by post that you need for your tax return. If you have not gotten it, contact the home savings bank directly, and they will send you your certificate. Donations to charity are also tax deductible. There's a maximum of 1 million euros or 20% of your net income. But most important, there's also a minimum of 120 euros. So basically, to deduct those on your tax return, the total of your donations have to exceed 120 euros. So if you have done 2 donations of 50 euros, 100 in total, they are not tax deductible. However, if you have done 6 donations of 20 euros, 120 in total, you can deduct them on that tax return for that year. If you're doing donations to Luxembourg NGOs, then basically they will send you by email or by post a certificate for your tax return. And if you have not gotten those, you can also add a bank statement that can prove that you paid for donation for those NGOs. Those NGOs, they need to be recognized by the Luxembourg state. So yeah, just check if this is the case for the donations you have done. Then childcare and domestic help. Basically in Luxembourg, you can deduct expenses you have for the cleaning of your home. This could be a person that you have hired yourself. So basically, you hire the person, you are paying a salary, and then you can deduct this salary on your tax return. But could also be a cleaning company. So basically, a company that is invoicing their services to you, that they can also deduct in this category those expenses. Childcare, for example, if your children are going to a crèche, those are tax deductible here as well, and also maison relais. So basically, it's where the kids can go after school. It's free in Luxembourg since 2024, if I'm not wrong. But during holiday periods, you still have to pay for maison relais, and at that moment, you can also add this on your tax return. There is a maximum. The normal maximum deductible limit here is 5,400 euros, but in some cases, you can deduct more. The calculations behind this is quite complicated. So on taxx.lu, you are just entering the entire amount that you have paid, and then the system will automatically check if you are limited to the 5,400 or if you can deduct more. For daycare, crèche, after school care, so maison relais, normally you are getting an annual certificate from them. Private crèche, sometimes they are not providing you this automatically, so you need to ask them. And if you have hired cleaning staff at home, then normally you are getting a certificate from a CCSS, which is basically the social contributions administration in Luxembourg. They will send you this paper, and you can add this on your tax return. Extraordinary expenses, as the name says it. It's kind of extraordinary. So a few examples could be support, financial support that you are sending to your family. If your family is living in a country where, let's assume your parents, they are not getting a pension in that country, you're sending them money so they can basically survive, then this could be accepted as extraordinary expenses. However, you have to prove this. So you have to prove that your parents basically are living from the money you are sending them. Then another example is not reimbursed medical expenses, so not reimbursed by CNS nor another private health insurance. Legal expenses, I don't know, a lawyer that you have to pay for divorce, expenses related to an adoption, funeral expenses for family members could be accepted as extraordinary expenses. Could be, but there's one rule or one condition. Based on your income, on your family situation, on number of kids, there's a minimum threshold, and you have to be over that minimum threshold to deduct this on your tax return. Here's an example: couple with 2 children, taxable income of 120K. Their normal, what is called normal burden, is 7,200. If the extraordinary expenses are below the 7,200, they are not tax deductible. If they are above, like in this example, 10,000 euros, then the difference between the expenses and the minimum normal burden is deductible. So in this case, it would be 2,800 euros that could be deducted, and that could lead to a tax saving of 1,167 euros. On taxx, this is calculated automatically. We will see in a minute that this amount, this normal burden, is calculated by the system, and you will see exactly what is this threshold that you have to exceed in order to deduct this on your tax return. Because those expenses are kind of extraordinary, there are no specific certificates for those, at least not normally. So best would be to give as many, you have to back these claims up with some proofs. It could be invoices, could be bank statements, could be a letter where you're explaining why you are sending, for example, money to your parents. Could be a tax return from that country showing that your parents, they don't have any income in their country. The more proof you give, the higher the chances that tax administration will also accept those deductions. Deductions related to your main residency. There has been a lot of change over the last years. Right now, to make it easy, the first 2 years you are in your new home, you can fully deduct the interest you're paying on your mortgage. So there's no maximum deductible limit for the first 2 years. The next 4 years, you are capped at 4,000 euros per person in the household. The next 5 years to 3,000 euros per person in the household. And afterwards, it will be 2,000 euros per person. There was another change 2 years ago. So basically, before 2023, the availability date that is asked on the tax return has been the date of move-in. So basically, it was the day you went to the commune, to the municipality to register in your address. Since 2023, it's a little bit different. If you bought something new, so a new building, then the date of availability, it's the day you are getting the keys for your new home, new apartment, new house. If you bought something existing, an apartment that already existed and it's in quite a good shape, so basically it allows you to at least theoretically move in at the moment of the notary date, it will be a notary date that will kick off the 2 years for the tax deductions. If, however, this house or this apartment was really dilapidated, so really ruined, no windows, no toilets, no heating system, and you have to do major renovations, in that case could be the move-in date that could be considered. On taxx, we have more information about this. We also have webinars just to explain this. If you are in this case, have a look, because sometimes it's not very clear what the dilapidated construction means exactly. For the mortgage interests on the web banking with your bank, you can find those bank statements. So also with Raiffeisen, And there you can, on the web banking, just download them, and there you will find per year all the information you need for your tax return. If you bought real estate during the tax year, so for example, in 2025, there are other deductions possible. For example, the bank fees that you paid for the mortgage opening with your bank. So if you are with Raiffeisen, could be fees with Raiffeisen, and or if you also had a home saving plan linked to your mortgage. In that case, could also be those fees that are tax deductible, and also notary fees for the mortgage opening are all also deductible. So basically, in Luxembourg, you have two different notary invoices when you are buying real estate. The first one is basically the fee that you have to pay for the acquisition itself. That one is not tax deductible, but there you will have other tax credits that you can claim. But there will be a second notary invoice for the mortgage opening, and that one will be tax deductible. So normally on the notary invoice, it's mentioned ouverture de crédit, credit opening, mortgage opening, and that one will be accepted as a deduction. If you are, and normally you are, a customer with Raiffeisen, where can you find the certificates from your bank? Basically, you can just look into your RNet, so the web banking of Raiffeisen, and then you have this menu documents, and on the drop down menu you can select certificates, and then you can find all the tax certificates you need for your tax return for last year. What are the benefits on taxx for Raiffeisen customers? Basically, the main advantage here, it's a 30% discount on all taxx.lu packages. We will see in a minute what are those packages. You have fully access to the platform with the customer support as a normal customer. You have a free phone consultation to talk with an expert from taxx about tax optimization, and you will get a free advice, a free analysis of how to reduce your taxes in the future, thanks to different solutions offered by Raiffeisen Bank. So what are the different packages on taxx? We have three of them. The first one is the standard package. You can basically file your tax return on our website. If you have questions, there's my team answering your questions. You have all the features that we are providing. We will see this in a minute. And at the end, you can just pay the 48.30 euros and download your completed tax return. The Plus package, and that's the majority of our users using that one, for 83.30 euros. Basically, it's the same thing. It's your tax return that you are doing on taxx, and then my team will manually check your tax return, do corrections, come back to you if they have still questions, and at some point they will validate your tax return. You can download it and you can submit it to tax authorities. On taxx, there's the system will calculate the result of your tax return. So basically, the cashback that you can get from tax administration or the taxes you owe them. If there's a difference between our result and tax administration's result in this package, it includes as well that my team will check your tax assessment, and if tax administration has done something wrong, we can also help you to contact them and to ask to correct these errors. Last package is the premium pack. Basically, that includes a video call with one of our team members. So this is mostly used by people that have questions about their personal situation. Maybe they will marry next year, they will divorce, there will be kids, they will buy real estate, and they want to have more information and answers to their questions related to their tax return. So how should you file your tax return? Easiest way, of course, it's on our website. So we will do a tax return together. And basically, if you're a new customer, you are starting a new tax return from scratch. However, in this on this test account, we already have tax returns from the last years. So going back until 2018. And the advantage here is that if you have done your tax return with our website last year, you can just do a copy of that tax return and we will take over most of the information. For example, your names, your address, your name of your children, matricule, and all this stuff that normally is not changing. If you are new, the first time you have to enter this on your own, but next time it will be done automatically. So we will just copy data from a tax return from last year. And there we are in this tax return. The name has been given already. You can choose the year, and you have to check the box that you are a customer with Banque Raiffeisen and that you want to get this discount of 30%. To get this discount automatically, there are two conditions. First one is to select this box here. The second is that in the process, you are adding an IBAN bank account number from Raiffeisen, and then the 30% discount will apply automatically. On the bottom, you have always two buttons, the save button and the save and continue. So basically, you are just saving and continuing. You are checking your data. So this data has been taken over from last year's tax return. The same for the name, matricule. If there has been changes on our forms, sometimes there are some red titles. So just check if this information is correct. The same for your occupation here, because there was some special treatments last year. So if you are in the social sector and under the SAS convention, select this box, or if you have been a policeman or military personnel, check that one. It's important to declare this special treatment they have gotten last year correctly. We are just saving and continuing. Everything seems correct. The address has not changed. Our current tax situation is the same. We got a salary, we have children, and we are owning our own main residency. Then we are on what we call autoscan. Autoscan is an automatic importer of basically all the tax certificates that you have just seen. So you have two possibilities. If you have gotten those certificates on paper, you can just download our free app. It's a scan app. Basically, when opening up the app will ask you to scan a QR code. That's a QR code you see here in the tax return. And after scanning this QR code, the app will ask you to scan basically different certificates. So you are holding the phone over the paper certificate, you're waiting a few seconds, and it will be imported automatically. So that's one option. Other option is basically to add PDF certificates that you have gotten from your bank or your insurance company or your employer. So let's do this here. There's one salary certificate that I've gotten from my employer. There is a certificate from my insurance company. I have downloaded on the app. And let's add also a certificate from Raiffeisen for a mortgage that I downloaded on my web banking. Saving, basically now the system will import those documents. We'll try to get the type of the document, and once that is done, we get the data out of it and automatically complete part of your tax return. We have three cases here. Here we can see two. There could be a third one, basically import not successful. In that case, you have a certificate that our system is not recognizing. In that case, you have to add it manually when you continue and when you are on this page of the tax return. Best case is basically import successful. There we can see that the certificate from Foyer has been imported. The same for the salary certificate. And you will see in a minute where those information will pop up. Then another possibility would be import to be classified. That's the case for this mortgage certificate. So basically, the bank statements here from Raiffeisen make no difference between a personal loan for a car or a home or a mortgage. Here we can see the amount, so we know, okay, this is for a mortgage. So basically you are just selecting that this is linked to your home loan, and when so you are selecting the box, and when you are saving this, basically the information will be imported and will show up in a few minutes. We'll see this in the right category. Here in the category salaries, we can find the salary certificate that we have important, and we see also that the system has important information that is on this salary certificate. However, there are two information missing. One is the municipality of place of work. This was a test salary certificate, so there's no, the employer is not mentioned, but normally the employer here is also automatically imported. You're adding this, you are saving, you are checking the data if the system has correct has imported the data correctly from the salary certificate, and then we can just continue. We'll find the kids. Those have been copied from last year tax return. And here we can also find the Raiffeisen bank statement for the mortgage, and all the needed information is already completed. Just check the amounts, and then you can go on. We will jump to special expenses. There we can find the foyer insurance certificate, and there as well, everything is already completed. So there you are good to go. Here you can find the bank account number. So basically the bank account number is needed to get this 30% discount. So it has to be a Raiffeisen bank account number, of course. And what they changed last year, so they, I'm talking about tax administration, they ask you now to add the bank account details, what is called in Luxembourg or in France, RIB, R-E-B. You can, a bank account statement, you can find it on your web banking at Raiffeisen. So basically they need this now to reimburse you your taxes. So add them please in this category. We were talking about extraordinary expenses. I told you that there's a minimum that will be calculated by the system. You can find it here. So for this test return, the minimum is 7,007 euros. If you have extraordinary expenses below this, makes no sense to add them because they won't be accepted. If you have expenses above, add them, and the system will automatically introduce them correctly into the calculations and also on the form. Auto check, basically it's a logical test on your tax return. Here you can see, for example, that we have only added one salary certificate. However, in this tax return, there are a couple. And also for the wife, we mentioned that she's an employee, but there's no salary. So is she really an employee and we forgot the salary? So you can add it. Or maybe last year she did not work, and then we can also change on the personal data that she's not an employee, but she was unemployed last year, for example. We are saving, and then the red dot here will disappear, and the same here on auto check. So basically there are some logical tests done on your tax return, so you can be sure that there's nothing missing. What is missing here is the RIB, the bank statement, with the bank account statement that we mentioned just a few minutes ago. Then you will be on the page results. So that's the final page. There the system will calculate the exact amount of your tax refund or the tax due. And this amount is also correct if tax administration is accepting everything that you have put in your tax return. And then you can just choose the package you want to choose. Give the opt-in that Raiffeisen will receive the information that you used this discount. So basically, they will just receive your bank account number. They will not get any other information. You can pay with your credit card, and then you can download your tax return if you have opted for the standard package and the plus and premium package. My team will do first a manual verification of your tax return, and then they will confirm it that you can now download your tax return. On top of that, the system will not only provide you your tax return that's ready to be filed to tax administration, but the system will also tell you how to lower your tax burden basically in the future. So this family could save almost 6,000 euros in taxes. How could they do? Basically, they could open up private pension plans and save more than 3,700 euros. Insurances, they could save 1,122 euros, and home savings plan the same. If you want to have more information, you can book a free call with one of my team members. We will go through your different options. So basically, it's an online agenda. You just choose the date, the time, and then we will call you. And in a 15 minutes call, we will go through your options, and you will also get an email later on with the points that have been discussed with the team. And then you can get in touch with Raiffeisen to subscribe those products if they make sense in your personal situation. So that's basically what we are providing on our website. So it's really one of the most easiest ways, I guess, to file your taxes here in Luxembourg. It's not only very convenient to complete it, but you also have this information about how to save on taxes. And thanks to Raiffeisen, you're getting a 30% discount on our packages. So there's no reason why not to file your taxes on our website. If you have any questions, just reach out to my team by chat or by email on help@taxx.lu, and we will be happy to help with your tax return in Luxembourg. That's it for today. I hope this was useful information. Don't hesitate to check the other webinars on our website. There are a few more, and you can also find on our website a lot of information, simulators, and so on about taxes in Luxembourg that could be very helpful. Thanks for your attendance, and see you soon. Bye-bye.